And in this case, I'm just going to start by clicking and reducing the size of the text. The problem with that is that as you do it, you'll notice there's a point at which it's still overflowing and then it's not, and you made some of the text smaller than the other text. Please watch. I know it's hard sometimes to concentrate when you want to work on your own thing, but I guarantee you, even though you feel like you're going to forget this, you don't have to. You can watch this video. So I'm going to take out this extra spacing here. Knowing that I need to put this text in Beauty is Deep and have a gap for it, I want to make sure that I am happy with the leading and all the text is truly finished that I have to have in here. There may be times when you also don't want to have any hyphens and you don't want to have to hand kern that, but we'll get to that another night. For now, I know I need some gap in here, but maybe not that much. So I'm going to select all the type. And I'm going to go to the window and do the type window and make sure that the actual character panel is showing, not the one from the top of the screen, but rather the independent character known as the character panel, this guy. This is an extremely helpful panel because you can adjust the text height and the leading. So first thing is that is what I will do. So here I'm going to click, and oh, I don't know what size that is. I forgot already. So what is it? It's 24. Well, it can't be that. So something's wrong in here. It's not all 24. That's why this shows up blank. If you ever see this when you think you have all the text selected showing up blank, it's because Illustrator doesn't know what size to tell you it is because it's more than one. So if I go like this, 22, and hit the return key, now it's all 22. Does that make sense? And then I can use the up arrow. I can use the up arrow here, 22. To click in this field and bring it to a space where I think that the leading and the size of the type are in a good way. So you're not going to know how to do this the first time. You're totally not. But what you need to understand is this next magical trick. So this next magical trick is using this one called the paragraph panel. There are some things on here that probably somebody has used in here, but not a lot of people do. One is the hyphenate. You can unhyphenate your text right there. Not hyphenated, hyphenated. So now it's not hyphenated. And then I might, again, because I need some air in here, want to make this text a tad smaller, maybe increase the leading. I'm looking to have a gap so that I can make the gap show up right here. By really understanding these controls, it does take practice to understand these controls. But the one I want to show you now is in the paragraph panel, and it's called space before a paragraph, and it has a friend called space after a paragraph. That little thing. I personally did not put paragraph spacers into this text. It's a running sentence. It's just a running paragraph with no returns. Fair enough? Does that make sense? But what I want to do is anytime I hit the return key, I want it to have a certain amount of space after the paragraph return. Now, I don't have one in here yet, meaning a paragraph return. So I'm going to add one. Click, please watch, and then I'm going to press return. So now I have nothing at all. Don't flail on me, Illustrator. Okay, let's try it again. Right now I am definitely after the R, and I'm going to press the return key. Boom, I definitely did it that time. Okay, stay with me, guys. Then I'm going to select all of the text, and I'm going to adjust this setting called space after. And if you can see what's happening here, it's moving. Yes, it's showing me that I have to make the type smaller again, but it's moving the type away from the return. And you can actually add one before too, so before the return, so you can increase and decrease the spacing before and after the paragraph return. So I got it just where I wanted it. I was lucky, it fit. Okay. You know, it's okay. It could look better. So I probably need to have another selection on it, put another selection on it, and then space after a paragraph. I'm going to take a break right after this. I'm not so much concerned with the type leaking out now because I have the character panel open and I can decrease the size of the text. Okay. And yes, you can move the text panel up. And there you go. Bob's your uncle. So largely it's a matter of taste. How do you want this to sit in there? Do you want the leading to be closer? But this is just oof, mon, poof. I'm making this look more intentional. Okay. My friends, are there any questions on anything that we have covered that you would like me to review right now?
So there's no more type actually on the type layer. Did you put it all on Runaround, or is it okay that it's on both?
It's actually only on Runaround because I wanted to have like a before and after thing. So there's before and there's after. Okay. And also, so you know, this is the last thing I'm going to say before the break because it's 8 o'clock, is please, please, my dears, look on screen because this is something I know some people are going to want to do eventually and they're going to be like, oh my God, what do I do now? Let's say right here you wanted to make that closer to her head. You can click just on that point with this tool, the sub select tool. Like you found a typo and you're like, Jesus, I need to put the word A in there. So now you can click here and make your correction if you didn't want it to run down to the next line. You can control how everything is fitting by changing this runaround shape. Just so you see, I'm going to mess it up, right? And I'm going to put it back, Command Z. All right, so that is how to begin working with the 3-column grid. Right, space before, space after, working with the grid. You might want to turn your grid back on right now. Okay. All right, and just for fun, I would like to use the rest of the design space. So there's a couple of tools in here I just want to tell you about that I never use. One is called the vertical text tool. I don't think I have ever really used this vertical type on a path tool seriously in a design project, but you might find a really nice way to do it. And then there's this one also, vertical type tool. This vertical type tool, this is the one I'm showing now, is right there, vertical type tool. Will let you click and type text vertically. I don't know if that's really often a good idea, but it does occur in life. Okay, so there's the text. And with the type tool, I can just select the text. Increase the size. So I probably should turn the grid back on, right? 3-column grid, make sure I hit one of those grid lines. All right, and just to be a little bit more playful, I'm going to wrap this up by A, making sure that this type really is on that line. Making the text ever so slightly larger. And then talking about paste behind and paste in back, paste in back and paste in front. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording.